With us on this Tuesday. The first warnings emerged more than 100 years ago, but today a team of scientists say that the time for dire predictions is over. That global climate change is here. It is here right now, and we are all being affected. Longer, hotter summers, drought, and extreme weather patterns across the U.S. The thick report concludes that climate change, once considered an issue for a distant future, has moved firmly into the present. That is a quote. And there is politics here. Of course, the report was released by the White House and immediately wrapped by Republicans. That said, supporters of stronger government action to meet this challenge say the study could be a game changer. With us now from Atlanta, Professor Marshall Shepard. He is a noted authority on climate change, and he's with the University of Georgia. And from here in Washington, White House correspondent Michelle Kosinski. Great to have you with us. Marshall Shepard, I want to start with you. What do you make of this climate change report? What's new here that really jumps out to you?
Well, what's new to me is that the report is so consistent. I mean, it's bringing the specter of future climate change into the present. I think the public thinks this is something far off. But a year or two ago during drought, they were paying more for their Cheerios and for their bread because of drought. There are issues that really affect their lives. The other thing that really jumped out to me is that we're seeing sea level rise and melting in the Arctic much faster than even the projections would have said even several years ago. And these things actually have links back to our life here in the U.S. It's not just about polar bears.
Michelle, I want to go to you to talk about sort of the political implications here. Some Republicans have come out and said that the timing of the release of this report is convenient. Of course, the whole debate over the Keystone Pipeline taking center stage in the Senate this week. How could that impact things?
Right. Well, I know that there's an energy efficiency bill coming up in the Senate. I mean, really right now, but the thought is that there are going to be these amendments tried to tack on there, like Keystone. That is an issue that's not going away, even though the White House has kind of delayed it as long as they possibly can, it seems. So there has been criticism. I think it's interesting now that when you see the criticism from the other side of this assessment, it's not so much denying climate change outright anymore. It's the politics of it. Yes, it's saying, well, why, is this going to become a way then for the administration to try to impose greater taxes, things like taxes on gas and other fossil fuels? The administration could be focusing on other things that are more important. Just today, one congressman said that the focus should be elsewhere, for instance, on America's treatment of veterans. So they're not necessarily criticizing the substance of the report, although there has been some in certain language that's in there and things like that. But it's mostly the politics of it. But what the White House has said is they're not going to basically let Congress stand in their way for pushing this year of action, as they've portrayed it, for the second term push for more climate action. Things like imposing greater restrictions on emissions, on industry, on coal-fired plants, that the administration wants to bypass Congress altogether through these executive actions and executive orders that the president, we know, has planned. Is there a timeline for more of these actions that will go through the Clean Air Act or the EPA? No, not necessarily. In fact, just today, the administration said there is no timeline for that, but I think we can be assured that we're going to be seeing President Obama taking some action outside of Congress, because there's virtually no chance of some of this getting passed in that way. Pamela.
Of course, the White House suggesting that this report is a game changer. Marshall Shepard, I want to go back to you. We can trace the first climate change warnings back to the 1800s. Whose fault is it that we are where we are, in your opinion?
Well, it's interesting because oftentimes I'll have someone walk up to me in the grocery store and say, well, Dr. Shepard, you know the climate changes naturally. I said, I certainly do. I shouldn't have my PhD if I didn't know that. But we know that human beings are contributing. We figured out how to burn fossil fuels in 1850, and we're outside of that natural bound that we've seen in sort of rising CO2 and temperature. But I want to get back to a point in terms of how we're thinking about this from a policy standpoint. Climate change directly impacts national security, the economy, agriculture, transportation. There is results in this report that suggest that it is raining much harder than it did 30, 40 years ago. That overwhelms storm management and city planning systems. Farmers have to think about drought-resistant seeding. The national military, I was on a National Academy of Study panel for the Navy. They're concerned about things like political destabilization from climate refugees. So there are all kinds of issues that I know that our stakeholders and policymakers that are concerned about that are directly traceable back to this science study. So we can't be dismissive of this as some sort of egghead science that we shouldn't be concerned about.
But you have the deniers out there, Marshall. Do you think they're going to keep denying? Do you think this debate will ever end?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've talked for a length about the zombie theories that are out there. These theories that just live on, even though the science has refuted it. They just kind of live on like zombies. You know, oh, it's the sun, natural variability. There's a pause. The science has dealt with these things. You know, Upton Sinclair said it best. It's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on him not understanding it. That particular quote sets the context for why we have some of the discussions that we have. I kind of steer clear of that. The science is clear. 97% of us that publish and speak on the science have known this for a while. So there's a lot of noise out there, but I try to stay focused on the signal.
Michelle, as we mentioned, this report was released by the White House. Is there any indication that there was any sort of political intervention with this report?
I mean, I think that the detractors out there will say, well, look, this was commissioned by a White House, by an administration that has an agenda to advance, especially in President Obama's second term. But these are scientists who, when asked, you know, will stand behind the science of what they're doing. And for every detractor out there, of course, there is a response not only from the administration, but from the scientists themselves, Pamela.
All right, Michelle Kosinski, Marshall Shepard, thank you both.
Thank you.
The offer